You have a problem with your son, you come and speak with me. I have a problem with my partner, I come and speak with you. I need to be heard and supported. Men need men, but women need women.
Yeah.
Who goes into the trauma, brother? Who goes back into the solitude, go back into that traumatic experience, which is the rape, which is the whatever happened into childhood. We don't want to go back there, but they were alone there. They were not heard. Their mother did not trust them. Their father did not want to take responsibilities. You understand that? They were alone. That's why they have the trauma inside their skin, because they could not voice it out. They had no one to say, I belong here. Brother, good to see you.
It's so good to see you, Tizi. Hey, look at you, huh? Fresh look. The last time, remember the first time I interviewed you, your hair was like sideshow bob. It was everywhere, you know. The boy's become a man.
Yes, the boy's becoming a man, so he's taking them off
Uh, that's
with the
good.
pain of his mommy. No, I love your long hair, but yeah.
That's hilarious. Hey, congratulations on your success. I'm always watching and looking and admiring you from afar. So you've done well, man.
Honoring me, bro. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate your words, bro. Receive you with
Yeah, my pleasure.
gratitude.
And also, I might add, thank you for being a part of my journey. You know, it's you know the healing journey, as you know, is a treacherous path at times. You know, it can be quite rewarding. It can be very emotional, but it's also you know such an unknown. And I guess when you get exposed to certain types of modalities and work and things like that, I don't think that it's typically any one thing. It's always like you know just a number of tools that you can put in your toolbox to add to your spiritual growth and your journey of healing. And but I must congratulate you and also thank you because you know you've been a part of my healing journey for the last couple of years. I've been to several of your workshops. We've caught up a couple of times. It's great to hang out with you. You know, I'm earning more money than I've ever earned, and my relationship with my partner's amazing. And probably one of the key things is my relationship with my boys. My three boys is solid, you know, and you know things are really tight. Yeah, just not 100% in terms of, you know, I don't want to paint a picture of everything's all rosy, but you know, my kids are all with me 100% of the time now. I've got like full care of them, and it's been that way for a ways. And yeah, I'm very grateful for the journey that we've had together.
Brother, it's only a beauty to hear you speak this way, and also particularly the part of the boys. You know how much I care about those experiences because I had a bit of a wild journey growing up, so I
Mm.
know how much the father needs their children, but also the children especially need their father. So thank you for your courage.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, let's rock and roll, man. I've been curious to find out that, you know, I guess to see in this day and age that we're in, you know, you have a beautiful soul about you. Yeah, more sort of I guess pouring my gratitude and love onto you, you know. But at the end of the day, I see you as a shining light. Your beautiful um, accent, everything about your nature is just like, you know, I always feel good when I listen to you. I feel good when I'm around you. And I can see that you're totally immersed in the service of others. But we live in a world that is quite traumatic at the moment. It's almost like everyone is being that is open to, I guess, learning about themselves, open to learning about how the world works and how to navigate themselves through this sort of system and structure and realm or whatever you want to call it. It's quite a daunting experience. And I wanted to find out from you, How do you handle it? How do you put yourself in a position where you see the dark forces of what's going on, and even though you are dedicated to your craft, at the same time, you can't sort of ignore the fact that there's a lot of darkness and evil that's going on in the world. How do you deal with that?
I believe, brother, that we are all the effect of what we call the I am.
Hmm.
The I am means that if there is a shadow within me, that shadow is projected into my life. So I engage with that shadow, which can be any form of shadow, like a lot of things are happening into the world at the moment, wild, as you said. But when we detach from those experiences within us, we no longer engage with the darkness that we manifest outside. And when I speak darkness, I speak also about very tremendous experience, what we hear on, what just came to the surface recently about the Epstein files, for example, those kind of scenarios. I am so devoted, brother, to the light that I brought inside me that I actually don't even have the time, to be fully honest with you, to focus on the dark because I'm so involved into helping others as much as others have helped me. Therefore, when I realized how I can detach from this, how I can make the world a better place by making myself internally a better place, the external is only a reflection of the internal. The I am is a single form of consciousness that experiences itself to the dark and to the light. Therefore, if I bring the light inside me and I go through the darkness, I manifest the light outside and I change the information into the field. I actually change the world by improving myself because I am that information. So I tap into this external information through myself internally. If internally I vibe at zero point 0.2, I will reflect those zero point 0.2 and those dark experiences. I will engage with that, with anger, with rage, with oppression, with whatever I want to engage, with control.
Hmm.
If I have released that control inside me, I no longer engage with zero point 0.2, but I will engage at 7. It will be a lighter experience, a lighter vibration. I will no longer experience as such. And the more I improve, increase the light within me, and the less dark will be outside into the world. This is how I see it. Despite about 2020, 2021, the period of COVID, I have to say with you, I was very, 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 very much involved into what was going on because there was a lot of charge in me. And it took me a couple of years of very, very grounding work inside me to bring the light upon.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I mean, I experienced the same thing. When going through that period, there's a level of resistance. Like you and me both. I think we have a common thread where we have at least had a presence of how should I say, disdain for authority. Resistance to being told what to do. And I think the more that you kind of embrace a certain level of authority, whether it comes from your own autonomy or the way that you guide yourself through and navigate through life, is one thing. But I think the rebellion in me wanted to speak out. It wanted to be angry, and it wanted to I guess, right the wrongs. It wanted to make an example of what was going on. I'll give you a real life example, which I think may or may not relate 100%. But it's like I've had an issue with two of my younger sons at school, right? My little boy has had an issue with, when I say little, he's 14, has had an issue with one of these kids at school. Um, he doesn't necessarily have the courage to kind of confront this person. But my middle guy, who's nearly 16, does have the courage, right? So, as a man, as a protector of his younger brother, he's gone ahead and said to this particular kid, like, you touch my brother, it's going to be the end of you. I'm sorry, like I've given you your warning. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like as a man, there's a role as a protector. I think, there's a part of me that wants to shield other people from the pain, from the suffering. And I want to be a force for good in the evil that is expressed in the world. Does this make sense so far?
Very much, my brother, very much. And I also experienced that to a very, very wide extent. So I I can certainly relate to what you're saying.
So if I
And
was to push you a little bit further, then, like, I am totally on board with what you're saying in terms of the energy, the vibration that you want to feel inside is what you want to replicate outside of you. But that doesn't discount, Tiziano, that there's evil going on. I mean, you know, are you putting the blinkers on to what's happening in the world, or are you choosing to ignore it? I mean, like that's probably the crux of where I'm going with this.
to answer, and I'm gonna be very specific with both.
Yeah.
The first one, brother, is very important because it's an experience of mine since I was very little. I learned to blackmail and threaten others just as others has threatened me.
Hmm.
I didn't have a father figure, and I rely on the criminal of the area to protect me, who was another scared child like me, just a bigger one, just a bigger form. When someone has no father behind their back, they generally tend to increase their voice to be heard. While when someone has a presence of an authority inside, I recently realized, stand with their presence. There's no need to threaten, there's no need to actually raise the voice, but you can be gentle and with compassion and say, hey, this is my limit. You don't come over here. I don't I don't allow you to do so. When you do that with presence, the other person often feels you.
Hmm.
And if they don't feel you, you have two choices. One is to take the other side, the other road, and usually I do that. Even with my closest friends, sometimes we had some debates that, particularly the kickboxing and boxing one, when my mates from the gym, and through my growth we had debates, and I saw that they were raising their voice, so we couldn't have actually a conversation. I opted to change path, brother. I'm not speaking with them like I'm speaking with you.
Hmm.
I'm friend with you because we can speak on the same level. We can understand each other, even into the disagreement.
Yeah.
But if you present your little boy in front of me and you start to shout and you start to scream, that's not an experience that I want to have. Therefore, I can choose either to keep engaging that way, so become the little boy myself, or hold my little boy. So hold my little boy inside and say, hey, this is not what I want. This is not who I am at the moment. So I'm happy to drift apart. And obviously, it requires a lot of compassion, understanding, firmness. So you need to have your brothers behind. You need to have your pack behind.
Hmm.
You can't stand alone. And people that shout, generally, they are the one they are alone. Actually, they miss their father. They scream because they are the one most scared. But the one that they have their pack, they have their father, they don't need to shout. They know they have a pack. They know they belong somewhere. They know
Hmm.
that wherever they go, they have a pack behind them that say, hey, nobody comes into your field. We are no one, we are 100 here. So that's a very different experience.
Hmm.
A kid generally shout when they are alone, when there's nobody behind their back. And I tell you, because I experienced any kind to the point of being slammed with a knife. So I went full on with that. So
Yeah.
trust me, I really fully engage with that, bro, and nothing external to it.
Hmm. Interesting. Do you feel, Tiziano, that the world at the moment has, like, does the world in, how do I put this? There is a field and a consciousness, as you know, that we all are a part of when we tap into. The the world as you know it, and I know it, is going through some sort of a death and a rebirth, and that's, I guess, prevalent throughout history, right? There's always beginnings and endings of empires and things like that, and it seems like we're at the precipice of all of that. In With respect to, say, a family constellation or something that's related to your your work, I mean, it seems like the language of the soul of the earth at the moment is in turmoil. It's in chaos, or perhaps at least part of it is in chaos. It's almost like the world has its own father issues at the moment. Like it is there's a lack of authority, a lack of leadership. There's a lack of masculinity, to a degree. I mean, I don't know how to sort of articulate this in a way that makes complete sense. But do you know where I'm going with this? Like as a collective, there's something that's really happening at the moment. I'm interested to hear your views on energetically, like utilizing your work. How do you interpret this?
There is a distorted form of consciousness, which we are all aware, perhaps those who study the movement of the field, which is set there in order for the harmonious form of consciousness, for love to evolve. There is a form of darkness that brings what is what is unknown, what is yet to be discovered to the surface. We need the dark to go towards the light, and family constellation, the observation of the field, very much shows us that.
Mhm.
When there is a war, there is an expansion. When there is a COVID, there is an expansion. When there is the truth coming to the surface, there is an expansion. What is this teaching to us? That the universe, the field, moves like a jellyfish. Contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion.
Mhm.
But let me say something about what you said before, which is very important, in my opinion, to observe. It's not about being blind to what's happening, because I see what's happened, I hear what's happened, the pedophilia, the this and the that, I hear all of it. It's not of me to go and judge it or to go and make a stand against it, but it's actually of me to turn my back on it and make a step towards the light. So be part of the solution. Not fighting the problem, creating another contraction, but be part of the solution. So this morning I've done a workshop with hundreds of people, and half of them they cry during the workshop online. So I release more sadness and anger. I allow these people, I support these people in releasing more sadness and anger towards their father, towards their mother, so they will engage less with the anger they have within against the anger of the world. The child who miss their father, therefore they're being raped, they're being taken, chosen, whatever it is. There's been a very, and I say this with, because I've spoken with my brothers for days, there's been the latest interesting interview about Dr. De Martini, and it was a very powerful statement to what he said. But what I was saying, for example, to my brother, from a constellation point of view, I cannot actually deny that what he said is actually the true on an energetic level. Despite those who commit those actions, brother, they face consequences.
Mhm.
So this is what is the piece I feel that was missing. There is a distorted form of consciousness that allow, like I had in Dubai, a little girl to go down to the bakery, and the bakery manager raped her twice, and she died out of that. And he
Mhm.
was beheaded 2 days after in the middle of the street, because in Beirut this is what still happens.
Mhm.
But how did I solve the constellation, which I have a beautiful video about, and I will post it in bits and pieces because it's very profound, into the constellation to release the illness that the sister is manifesting. I had to bring the perpetrator, the pedophile, inside the family of the victim.
Wow.
That is how it gives me goosebumps still to say.
Mm.
That is how she released in front of another 30, 40 people. That's how she released sadness, anger, whatever she had to release. And that's how she was brought closer to her family through the experience of this pedophilia and whatever it is. What that pedophilia was useful inside that system is to bring the family together. The father was absent, perhaps in the previous generation, whatever happened. Through that distorted experience, the father was included.
Mhm.
I know it's a very deep concept to understand, which not many people might do, but when you come and see the work,
Yeah.
in order for me to do what I do and to really help people, I need to see beyond the good or the evil. I need to see beyond the laws of conscience, the right and the wrong. I need to tap into an higher form of consciousness, which is love, in order for me to really help.
Mm.
However, this is what I like to point, because some people, like with Dr. De Martini, were like, the people that they commit such actions, they have consequences and they cannot be atoned for it. And this is
Mhm.
very important. This is very important.
That interview was quite challenging, and I agree with you. Like, is Di Martini, I've grown quite fond of over the years, and that interview certainly challenged my views of him because uh, the way that he was sort of indifferent, I guess, to the experience, and then when he brought someone to the perspective of thanking the perpetrator for if it wasn't for them, then they wouldn't have all the success that they have in their life based on that experience. And I think that I'm not sure how you feel, but that may be the most challenging part of all of that because it doesn't deny the wrongdoing of and the heinous crime and the heinous act of that. Is that what you mean by the perpetrator still has a consequence? Or is that what you mean by the how his interpretation of that particular scenario was or not?
The perpetrator experienced an amount of guilt for what he committed that he has to live with for all of his life, and it's also in service to him, whatever he's going through. So yes, I Dr. De Martini made statement. Maybe they were called into the sharing, but
Mm.
to a morphogenetic point of view, morphogenetic field point of view, so to a deeper therapeutic understand of family constellation. In fact, he was right. He was right
Yeah.
what he stated.
He
But
also,
again, you
sorry, go
can't
on.
cut out the consequences. So
Yeah,
what he did, encounter guilt, encounter anger. There are consequences towards this
of
person. Yeah.
course. But when he says things like sometimes even the child attracted that situation in, and and he said that many victims went back to their perpetrator multiple times. As an 8-year-old child, for example, to go back to their abuser. What's your take on that?
Brother, I'm not exaggerating if I tell you that I've experienced this over 50, 60, 70 times actually in constellation field. The daughter that goes and give herself to the stepfather to atone the guilt of the mother. Like I've seen situations like that. I'm gonna give you an example, very open. I have videos of it. I've done work in front of
Yeah.
hundreds of people. Um, a mother bring two children inside a new relationship, and the stepfather is a single man, so and he provides for the mother as well as for the children. Perhaps one of the children might experience the guilt of the mother and try to atone and energetically give herself to the stepfather.
Hmm.
It happened. A father who is excluded into the family, a daughter is attracted to punish the mother because she excluded the father, so she go and experience rape, for example, from the neighbor. Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely, brother. I have seen many, many times in constellation terminology. This is a very common dynamic.
Yeah. So, Tizi, look, obviously we're getting a little deep here, and I don't mind if you don't mind. But I mean, obviously, look, in the wake of everything that's been happening, perhaps there is some rewounding that's going on in the public at the moment. Particularly if you had an experience during COVID that was quite confronting and it was challenging for you mentally, physically, emotionally. It brought up a lot of separation and isolation, a lot of that sort of governmental control, putting people in a position where their backs were against the wall. That sort of arose a lot of trauma within the public, and you could see that their responses were exactly the way that a child would respond in most cases. And a good argument to that is how people were fighting against each other and blaming one another and all those sorts of things. But maybe in the recent release of the Epstein files and the things that are going on, perhaps it's given people a bit of courage to speak out about some of the experiences that they had. It sounds like in Dubai, you've had quite a lot of it, almost in the one constellation, which is probably unusual. I mean, I've been in constellations with you where you do have people that have been abused, but it's typically maybe one, maybe two out of 40 people. But if you're saying you had a bunch of people in the one constellation, that seems like there's some sort of energetic shift that's maybe a result of all of this coming out. Would you agree or not?
100%, brother. It's no case that we are going through a very profound double eclipse this month, and this truth is coming to the surface. Only a few days ago, I cut cord with some of my friends. They were not in alignment stuff. Why? Because the truth is coming to the surface. We are invited more towards integrity. So the darkness is working again in favor of the light, and vice versa, in order for us to, as you said, flourish upon. I tell you something about the Dubai experience, which it might make you think about it.
Mm.
I never had a workshop worldwide where there are no men. I never had a workshop worldwide there were at least one man. Dubai was the only one that I had no one man into the room, not even the videographer. I had no one man inside the entire uh, lo- the location, the building where we were, just women.
Mhm.
And I experienced a few times some of my own darkness. I actually apologized publicly to one lady because I was joking into the way I was pursuing the constellation. And when I engaged with her after, I was like, she felt touched. And I felt my own charge, like, you want extra attention from me, my own observation therapeutically. Instead, I've sat and I've chosen to say, I'm sorry, you're right, you deserve better.
Mm.
Brother, as soon as I said this statement, the entire room went quiet. She cried and she said, no one man in my life has ever told me that I deserve better.
Mm.
Now I know why I came here.
That's
Like,
beautiful.
it still gives me goosebumps to say.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to say something else because I knew what was going on. I wanted to help her, but I've chosen to step a little wider and I say, I'm sorry. Like, as soon as I say I'm sorry, like the entire room cried. She cried. Like,
Mm.
no one man in my life ever told me that. And
Gonna make me cry.
yeah, exactly. It does. It still does to me, brother. It still does to me because it was very impactful. And what is it teaching us? What is it teaching me? I needed to be that healthy masculinity there, what my mother wanted me to be, what she taught me to be, because she experienced a lot of abuse when she was little. She couldn't even wear a skirt. She's from South Italy.
Mm.
No one was allowing her to have it. Actually, when she did, she got hit.
Mm.
So I had to be the result of it for her and in honor, because they are all my mother. When I serve women, they are all my mother. I relate with all of them like with my mother.
Yeah. So, I mean, if someone's listening at the moment and they're feeling like perhaps this is bringing up something that perhaps lay dormant for quite a many years, I mean, part of their healing process is what? Like, what are they meant to do in this situation where perhaps they're reliving a trauma that they've suppressed for many years? You know, like I know. Um, in constellations with you, like, you know, you cry out the sadness, you know, you cry out the energetic shift that has been trapped within you. But I mean, if we can just speak to people that maybe have been in an abusive relationship or they have been abused, you know, by someone that they love, because typically in this scenario, Tizi, as you probably already know, like, it's very rarely a stranger. It's someone that they know. It's a family member. It's a cousin, an uncle, an auntie. It's the mother or the father, or it's both of them. You know, you with me?
Listening to this conversation is healing for them.
Mm.
Why? Because two men stand together in favor of this, in support of this. And two men are saying also, you are not alone. We hear you. We understand you. We speak also to you. Sometimes, brother, we try to resolve. I do the same into Constellation. You know me, I love you come in and you tell me whatever things, and I see right, left, right, left. But
Yeah.
I always say, I don't know if I can resolve, but I know one things. I'm certain of one things. My presence, my healing is enmeshing with you. We are exchanging energy. That's what they're doing, even listening to this. You have brought this into service to these women. And I bring my essence as well. You brought the structure, I bring the essence.
Mhm.
So they listening to this, and we are serving them, and they know they are heard and not alone.
Mm.
But let me also respond you theoretically, which is an important part for a podcast also. That is why I was thinking 1 second, because I wanted to differentiate the two.
Yeah.
A woman needs to be heard by other women. She needs to have a pack of women
Mm,
around her. She needs to lie with them and be heard by them, even in such a disgrace, in such a situation. And you, my brother, you need brothers. I need you, you need me. You have a problem with your son, you come and speak with me. I have a problem with my partner, I come and speak with you. I need to be heard and supported.
mm.
Men need men, but women need women.
Yeah.
Who goes into the trauma, brother? Who goes back into the solitude, go back into that traumatic experience, which is the rape, which is the whatever happened into childhood. We don't want to go back there, but they were alone there. They were not heard. Their mother did not trust them. Their father did not want to take responsibilities. You understand that? They were alone. That's
Mm,
why they have the trauma inside their skin, because they could not voice it out. They had no one to say, I belong here. They trust me. I'm supported.
mm,
That is exactly what they need now. They need to return there, but now they have their pack. They have their women hearing them. We are no longer alone. We are no longer mistreated. And you, as a brother, you have your bros. I'm not alone into that breakup with my mommy or whatever it is. I have my bro now.
mm.
Different experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you touched on a few things. I mean, obviously from every child, they they want to be seen, they want to be acknowledged. And something that's you're bringing up for me is that abandonment, not being protected, not being shielded from any darkness or anything, like that's, yeah, it's a core wound. You're making me quite emotional, actually.
It is a pleasure, brother, to see your rawness, your courage, your masculinity. I'm honored. I'm honored to see this. And I tell you one thing, bro. If a man cannot cry with another man, can't be fully trusted. And I say that to myself. If
Mm,
I'm able to actually show my rawness with other brothers, then you can trust me. We can go to war together. We can go in battle. We go in
mm.
battle. But after we cry, I went to a gathering of men just last week, and a beautiful man, he says, Leon says, if a man cannot dance, he cannot even fight. And I loved it,
I
bro.
like it.
I
Yeah,
loved it.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, you definitely touched something within me, but I don't know what it is. I was saying to my partner the other day, I've been super emotional this last couple of weeks. Just at the drop of a hat, I fucking cry at a Kleenex commercial. I don't know what's going on. Bit of hormones or something like that. But there's something moving through me at the moment, and you're bringing up a few things, which is, making me Tiziano, fuck, you're making me very emotional.
It is only a honor, brother, to allow this to happen into a beautiful conversation, which is not only in service to you and me, but it's in service to many other beautiful men and women, and also allows other brother to say, I'm not alone.
Mm,
Sometimes, brother, if you have experienced some form of abandonment from your father, but you are able to don't feel that abandonment anymore in you by actually being present for your children,
mm,
that is something that you are healing. You are bringing back the appreciation of what you could not receive because you are now giving. You are
yeah.
learning to give, and you embody that by giving it to your son. And if I'm not wrong into what you told me, I'm gonna bring a bit of systemic understanding. There's a very profound bond, which is push and pull and charge with the second son of yours. I don't remember his name. I know all of your kids, but this brings me a lot of energy. I feel a lot of his mom energy in him, and there's a lot of healing happening, in to what you're sharing. And
Mm. Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic with my children, and they're all around me, so they're going to be pissed that I'm talking about them
We
I'm
love them. We love them. Tell them.
no, it's interesting, like I've got my my eldest is in a position where I feel like, there's a tug of war between his journey on his path to figuring out what he wants in life. And yeah, there's a part of me, Tiziano, that just I know the answer. I can see the path. I can see 10, 20, 50 steps in front. I know exactly what to do, what to say, and where to go. And I want to guide him to the right answer. But then there's a part of me that has had to let go and say, listen, man, like, yeah, you're a man and you're on your own. I'll be, how do they say, like a lighthouse? I'll guide you to where the rocks are. Okay. And but I'm not going to tell you exactly where to go. I'm just going to give you some guidance. My middle guy, we are like, and this has been since the day that he was born. I I can want to hug him to death or strangle him to death, and that can be in 5 minutes. So we have an interesting dynamic because we do a lot of things together. We're very similar. He's a chip off the old block. He's me, but a better version than me at his age, at 16. He's doing mixed martial arts. He's lifting weights. He's eating protein every 3 hours. This guy's like, he's where if you were to get a photo of me and him at the same age, we look the same. He's just taller, better looking, and he's better than me. So, but we exert dominance within each other. So, like, he is in a moment where he wants to confront me. He wants to almost like I don't know if he wants to dominate me or get in a position where he's like, I'm your equal, and I'm going to overpower my father, or I'll tell you that I'm not afraid of you, or I can fight you. I can fight you and I can win. That sort of thing. So we have, when our egos clash, I'm like, this is your place in the hierarchy. You're not my equal. I am up here. You are down here. This is where you belong. My youngest son is, still discovering a few things. He sends me reels, Tiziano, like, all this stuff about what it means to be a dad and the best dad and all this kind of stuff. And I fucking cry. I'm watching these reels. They're just heart moving, like they make my soul feel up. But probably more to the point with, I guess, what you're cleverly, dissecting through constellations and things is, and the interesting thing you said about calling on our brothers, because my situation has been like this as far as an evolution, post like separation and things like that, where we had the kids 50-50, and then it migrated into some stayed and some left. Some went this side, some stayed on my side, others were going 50-50. So one of them was Switzerland. And then it's migrated into all are here. So they're all with me all of the time. And so it's me as a father raising three sons, but it's made me a better man. Like I said to you before, I'm making more money than ever. My business is going great. I've got other things in the works in terms of aspiration and things that I want to do. I've moved places. We're living a great lifestyle, and it's all off the back of my efforts to support my children. So I guess I don't know, when it comes to my kids and things like that, man, if it just pulls on my heartstrings, Tiziano. Like I don't know how else to pull it. These are my children. I want them to be better versions of me than when I grow up. Does that make sense? I don't want to be at the top all the time. I want to stand back at a period in time, or a moment in time, where I can say I was part of I guess, a succession plan, however you want to pull it. Sounds pretty clinical, but I want them to be better versions of me, and I want them to exceed me. I want the successor to be better. You don't want someone to take over your business and run it into the ground. You want them to take over the business and make it go even further than you. Does this make sense to you?
Fully, my brother. Can I share something with
Yeah,
you?
please, please. I've unloaded on you. I didn't mean this to be a
No, no,
consultation session for Adrian.
no,
Yeah,
no. It's of service, and that's why I want to share this.
yeah,
How can I be a better man is equal to me as how can I be more of service? Therefore, it's no longer a battle to winning or losing, it's just to be more of service. For example, in the dynamic with your second son,
Mm,
if I may, there's no much of a need to clash, like he won, I won. How can I step back? Because I am the better man. I don't need to clash with him. I step back. I let him lose his plot and go wherever he wants, but I don't move. I'm a pole. He's the flag. I'm a pole. I don't move. And that's where I see myself in the same way. Like, how can I be a better man? How can I be more of service?
mm,
I just had a little disagreement with one of my closest brother, like 4 or 5 days ago, and he raised his voice and stuff. I step back. How can I be more of service? Let him be alone. Let him be alone. I step back. I don't need to clash. I don't need to win. I step back. I'm the big one, but I have to really be the big one. Firm, present, not enmesh into a
mm.
17 years old fight, but actually step back and say, yeah, you wanna go break your teeth on the whatever, do whatever you want. I still stand here as a pole. You go
Mm.
whatever you want, but I'm the pole.
Yeah.
And it's funny what you were sharing when when you were speaking about your first son, no? And I'm like, like he wants to do his own, and I'm like, he looks like the man I have in front. He looks very much like you. I want to go my own, like perhaps that was your experience of your father. I know better. So, and
Yeah.
again, you don't need to hold him. I let you go. I stand here. I'm the pole. I am really the lighthouse that you were talking before. I am that light. I'm here. I'm a fortress. You don't move me, brother. I'm
Mm.
here. If you need me, you come back to me. If you fall, I shall be there. I will pick you up, or I will help you pick you up, depending how old you are.
Yeah.
But I won't fall with you. If you want to go in a street fight, you go by yourself. I'm not a kid.
Yeah.
I stand solid.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, these kids, man, they're fucking mirrors of myself, so it's no wonder I experience and because they're like, 19, 16, and 14, it's just I'm experiencing every part of myself at that age all the time and it changes. So mate, I've got no choice to be a better man. I've got no choice to level up, because like what I've got in front of me is too important to ignore.
But that's also the beauty, brother. Like, the children are always the perfect children for their parents, as much as the parents are always the perfect parents for the children.
Yeah.
They serve in a both way. Children take and parents give, and parents observe themselves through the children. So children do not teach to their parents, but parents have the opportunity to observe themselves through
Mm,
the children. One important thing that you can observe from the systemic point of view, the second son might be very close to his mother. He might very much be seen by his mother or something like that.
mm,
So the mother gives a bit of entitlement to the boy. The boy has enmeshed with the mother too much, with the feminine too much. She prized him a lot. I was prized so much. I was entitled about everything. My mother, oh, God bless, to touch me.
mhm,
But with the brothers, with the men, I'm one of many. And how do I exceed myself? How I become one of many? How I become part of the pack? Bringing my light within, my uniqueness, my individuality. The more I take my family of origin, and the more individual I become. The more I take my mother, and the more I take my father, and the more unique I become, because I am in a unique fusion of two systems of belonging, the one of my father and the one of my mother. And even if I have brothers or sisters, I am the only one with my particular destiny.
mhm.
Therefore, I'm really individual.
My middle son said to me the other day, he said, I wonder what my life would have been like if if you hadn't have divorced, if COVID hadn't have happened, if things were to change and I didn't come with you, we didn't start the gym, all that kind of stuff. Like I wouldn't have done MMA. Maybe there wouldn't have been any part of me that is present now if things had have been changed. I wonder if if this is you were sort of saying, is this my path? Is this the path that I'm meant to be on? And I really had nothing to say other than it has to be your path, because you're on it. There's there's no else how else I can really put it. If it was not meant to be, you probably wouldn't be here, right? So it's an interesting conversation, an interesting dynamic that I'm having, yeah, with all the kids. And look, and it's super important to me because once you know, you can't unknow. Once you learn, you can't unlearn. Like there's things that are happening within me, like you said, a reflection of my children and things like that, which I'm aware of. So if I'm not healing within myself, there's no way that I can heal within my children. If I'm not going to be that light, then there's no way that I can give my children any hope or direction. They're going to be probably seeking another father or another role model like you did when you were a kid, like they're going to find someone else to lead the way, and I want that person to be me, I guess.
And the beauty of it, brother, is that despite I looked for other fathers, they all brought me back to the beauty of my own. So they all brought me back to appreciate the father that I was given. I like that way. I like the martial arts way. I like the criminal way. I like that way. But then brought me closer to who I am actually am, a very compassionate man, just as my father. And the more I became that compassionate man, and I was no longer afraid of it, to show up into my uniqueness, into the public, into my own pack.
Mm.
And the more appreciated I became, and I'm still becoming, the more I'm taking my uniqueness and the more I feel appreciated because it's my nature. I cannot become an apple if I was born a banana. That's what many people try to do to fit in. They try to become an apple despite they were born a banana because when they try to be that banana, they were rejected, pushed apart, pushed away. So
Sure.
the path towards returning the apple is to release all of the traumatic experience that banana added for me to actually return to my own unique shape. And that's what life is about, evolution.
Yeah, it sure is. What's next on the evolution for you, Tiziano? Like with your constellations and with how things are going, and your training. I see you're expanding into different countries. I see you've got your online platforms and all those sorts of things. Where you headed?
This is a very big year, brother, for my work, as you know, like we go in 13 different countries, sorry, 11 different countries worldwide, from North America to Europe, Middle East. But what I'm calling out, brother, is to become a man of service to a family too. So I'm calling out a partner. I would really love to have a partner to share my life with
Hmm.
because I've been devoted to my work and my work only, and when I want to continue that, but I also would love to have a person to share my service with and to be more of service because becoming a father, as you taught me, as I can see, is one of the most evolutionary path of them all.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you would make a great dad. It's just there's no question about it. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to relationships, I mean, I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, but do you often get answer, at least ask yourself the question in terms of inviting partnerships when you look at constellations, like what's it like to go on a date with Tiziano? Like, are you figuring out my constellation the moment that we that we get together? Are you asking me about my relationship with my father or my mother? Like, what's it like? Maybe we can give people an experience.
It used to be that way, brother, when I was still seeking validation from my mommy, acknowledging my gift, my knowledge, and try to seek validation from the other. But you actually bring to the surface a very important point, bro, and thank you for it. Now is just to experience what is the relationship, enjoy the time together. Like I don't aim for more than just being me and having the other person being herself as much as we can,
Mm.
and helping each other to become a better man and a better woman. I always say, brother, and I want to acknowledge this because it's important. The relationship is successful only when we experience it as what is a relationship. If we aim through the relationship to heal some of our childhood trauma, such as I want to be married, I want to receive the ring, I want to be wealthy, I want to be seen, I want to be that, if there is anything else that we want from the relationship rather than the relationship just as itself, then is when the relationships start to cripple and fall away, fall apart. I
Mm.
always say to people, the relationship work only when it's just a relationship, when you don't expect anything from it.
Mhm.
And many people, Adrian, bring me the example of what does it mean, expectation and standards. I want certain standards and certain expectations.
Mhm.
Well, a standard is I am emotionally available, therefore I manifest a partner who is emotionally available because I can only reflect who I am. But an expectation is I am emotionally unavailable, but I expect a partner who is emotionally available because I did not receive it in childhood, therefore I seek it in others. That is the catalyst for a very traumatic experience. Makes me laugh to share.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
But
is.
it's not to say that you can't heal within a relationship, Tiziano. Like, there's obviously, what do you say? Love seeks to how does it go? Love seeks to reunite
Reunite that which was
that which
separated.
was, yeah, was separated, right? So, I mean, there's certainly a healing journey, and I've experienced that myself with my partner. I mean, it's one of those things where we've served each other. I think maybe to add to what you said in terms of, probably in not such an eloquent way, but it's it's almost like I have a particular ability, like, let's say, to understand myself and to understand others. And because you understand certain modalities and whatever, psychology, whatever you want to call it, attachment styles, all the shit that goes with the relationships, right? But I'm not your coach. Like, I'm not here to be your coach. I'm going to heal myself on my side, and my hope is that you heal yourself on your side, and then perhaps through our own interactions and presence, we can bring our best versions of ourselves together. So I think that that's served me a lot in terms of, I'm not here to heal you. I'm not here to coach you, and I'm not here to, um, you know, give you advice in that sense, like a user's manual would be. But I'm certainly hoping that we have a value, at least, of personal growth. We have a value of wanting to be better versions of ourselves. We have a value of making this relationship harmonious and full of love and full of attraction and full of, um, like, all the juice that goes with a beautiful relationship. Does that make sense to you?
Brother, fully. And how I would rephrase it in just a shorter way, I'm not here to save you, which I totally agree with
Yes.
you. I'm not here to save you. Ultimately, on a soul level, brother, a relationship brings a man to be more of a man and a woman to be more of a woman because she let go of her own masculinity, and us as men, we let go of our own femininity. So it's natural that we evolve and we heal certain wounds. We let go of those expectations we had with the opposite sex through our partner. So I'm totally keen for it and totally understand.
Mm.
When the relationship is, how I call it, very well, entangled, is when we place all of those expectations into our partner and vice versa. The more expectation we placed on them, and the less the relationship works. This is what I always say. Like, if you have one of you if you have one of you expectation, obviously you can work with. But if you have 8, 10, 11, that relationship is more an enmeshment of what you were with your mother, and
Yeah.
very hardly, very, very hardly would work unless there are periods of detachment, profound detachment, evolution, and then eventually unfolding, going into the future. But being together when there are a lot of expectation from childhood, it's difficult.
Yeah. Do you ever have a visualization process? Do you have an image or a depiction of your ideal woman or scenario or things like to come into your life, or do you just leave it up to the constellations to do their thing?
No, I do. I have my idea, my dream goal. I have big dream goals. You know that I always speak openly. I have my idea traveling the world through my work and providing a beautiful environment for my family. I have some ideas of how my women are because obviously I know what I like, what I don't. But I also leave Adrian to the universe to what is better for me, what is suiting my taste, what I want to experience. And important, another word that you used, the values. It's
Mm.
important for me that we share the same values, just as you said before.
Absolutely. I think values trumps interests. Like, I think an older version of me went for similar interests. And I think that that serves you to a degree, but ultimately it comes apart when your values differ. So, the values, if you've got similar values that are aligned, which is important, but then as you and I both know that if they are living in integrity with those values, if they are, I guess, honoring those values. Some people like in your space, you see many coaches and people they're performers, like they have an online persona and a workshop persona, but then when you see them outside of that particular environment, they're whatever, partying, doing drugs, plenty of women, all that kind of stuff. They're not congruent with the values that they project out there in the world. So I think when someone has aligned values, it's fantastic. When you see that they're congruent with those values, that's a super green flag. It's like this person is authentic. Authentic is very attractive. I mean, no one can argue with that.
I am so in alignment with what you shared, and the word that I would use is embodied. Like, do they embody who they are preaching to be?
Agreed.
Like, you notice right away when someone embodies, they stand firm, they stand present, their words hold weight. It doesn't matter if they have 3 followers, but if they have weight on their words, those 3 followers speak with other 3 and 30 and whatever, it's the ripple effect.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter if you have 500,000 followers, but you don't embody who you are.
Mm.
That's a very important value, brother of mine, like the embodiment. Like, have you gone through the fire and got out on the other side, through the through the
Yeah, yeah.
chimney,
I want
whatever
to see
happened.
I want to see some battle scars. I want to see some war
Yes.
wounds. Let me know what you've been through. If you're fresh off the boat, then we're at the wrong stages of life. So yeah, I appreciate that. Hey Tiziano, if people have been inspired at all by what you've said throughout the podcast, where can they go to find you? You got some workshops coming up in Australia soon, or what do you got planned?
Nothing in Australia for 2026 because we
No
are all
way.
over the world. I know many they will say, "Oh, why not in Australia?" Just didn't feel this year, and we had a lot of external, but they found all of it on www.tizianosguerso.com. My Instagram is at Tiziano_Sguerso. My Facebook page, Tiziano Sguerso, the language of the soul, but pretty much on my website they really find every possible way to connect with me, to work with me. And this is my life passion, brother. And I also want to thank you and acknowledge you, first of all, for the rawness you show through this and the bond we have. And this is bring us also to the last topic. Like, would I go and have a coffee and a beer with Adrian if you wouldn't share the same value? No, that's why we are here, because we share the same value. So that's why you bond with all your brothers and friends, because you share values.
Thank you. I really appreciate you. Speaking of coffee, we should catch up.
Oh, yeah,
We'll come and do a coffee soon. Maybe you can come to
please.
Hong Kong.
Please, and give a big hug to Chanel as well, and your
I will.
kids too.
Thank you so much. All right, mate. You've been an absolute amazing guest. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I can't wait to hang out with you again soon. And until we meet again, I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Big love.
Back at you.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.